So the statistics are that in this day and age in the United States, there are more single adults than ever before in the history of time, right? That means more of us are single in the United States. Now, whether we're married, whether we're divorced, and that's why we're single, or whether we're just single because we just have never married, it's irrelevant. The point is there's more single adults in the United States than ever before. So how does that play into, this whole relationship game, right? Ultimately, when you talk to people, everyone just wants a few basic things, right? Everyone wants to be safe and comfortable. Everyone wants a good, safe environment to be in. Everyone wants to be loved, be in a relationship where they're valued, they're respected, and they want to make money, they want to feel important. I mean, those are basic human needs, right? Maslow a psychologist did an amazing study, and he came up with what's called a Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's a triangle upside down. And no, it's actually a right side triangle, sorry. And basically, he talks about that on the basic level, there's different levels of needs that a human being has. And so the basic need is safety, our physical safety, right? And so for those people, of us who are living in, war-torn countries or, unsafe environments and neighborhoods, if you don't physically feel safe, you're stuck on that level. You can't really think about the next level, which is emotional safety. Once you have the physical safety, then you start looking for emotional safety. And once you have that emotional safety in terms of friendships and relationships, then you start looking at, are you making a difference? Are you contributing? Now, there's a few levels. I don't remember them all clearly, but basically it gets to where you're physically safe, you're emotionally safe, you have a need to contribute and give back, you're financially taken care of, you're successful in your career, you're creative. And ultimately, when you have all those things, then you actually think about the bigger questions, right? Who am I? What is my purpose in life, et cetera, et cetera. So that Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a very awesome tool. And anything I talk about, you can always just Google and find more information about it. But let's come back to this need of being in a relationship, right? So I've been happily divorced and single for on and off for 14 years, pretty much, right? And, again, like all singles, I've had a list, even before I was married, as a teenager, as a little teenage girl, I had a list of things I wanted in my partner, in my potential husband, future mate, right? And, he had to be tall, he had to be successful, he had to be good looking, he had to be from the same culture, the same religion. There were a lot of very sort of things that were very important to me as a 16, 17, 18-year-old, right? And now that list changed when I was in my 20s, well, more like in my 30s when I became divorced and I was single again. And interestingly enough, that list even changed further now that I'm in my 40s, right? And so what's changed about that list? So about 10, 12 years ago, I made a list. And, for me, it was important at that point to have someone that was, emotionally stable, financially stable. The physical was not that important at that point anymore because the character of the person was more important. And, there were a bunch of other stuff, spiritually aware, blah, blah, blah. And what I said to myself at that point was I looked at the list and I said to myself, okay, this is the requirement I want in my potential mate, right? Nice. But how many of those things do I bring to the table? So the most important question is, would I want to be with someone like me? Am I the kind of person that I would want to be with? Think about that for a minute, right? Are you the kind of person that you would want to date, that you would want to be friends with, that you would want to be in a relationship with, that you would want to start a life with? We all have these, lists of things that we want. But isn't it only fair that the person that we would want to have in our lives would, obviously, if we have a certain standard, that they would too? And shouldn't we meet at least the standard that, we want in them? So, I have worked actively on that. And it just fascinates me when I talk to, people and they have all these lists of things. And my question is always, are you the kind of person that you would want to date, that you would want to be in a relationship. Take an honest look at who you are. Because, the only person we have control over is ourselves. The only person we can change is ourselves. It doesn't matter, how much, even a dictator to a certain degree cannot control and change other people, by force you can. But you have, for example, we have a little, 4-year-old niece, but even when she was a baby, yeah, we could pick her up and, sit her in the high chair and she'll throw a temper tantrum, not as a baby, but, as a 2-year-old, 3-year-old. There's not a whole lot that, we can force her to do unless it's bordering abuse, right? We have to sort of get her buy-in. And so the point is, you don't control anyone but your own self. You have control over that. And if you do, what an amazing freedom that is. And how you feel, how you react is completely up to you, right? So, I was talking to someone earlier today and they said, they made me feel, or my mother, makes me feel horrible. And I had to stop. And then, it was my girlfriend makes me feel whatever. And my question was, really, did they make you feel that way, or did you allow them? Did you allow that response? You chose to respond in that way. You didn't have to. You could have chosen to just be, indifferent about what they said. But you chose a response which you think you don't control, but in reality, you're the only one who controls your own response and your own reactions and your own feelings about anything. Nobody can make you feel anything unless you allow it to. If you actually take ownership of that, that is such an empowering idea, right? Because then all of a sudden, you've shifted the power dynamics from somebody else making you feel a certain way versus you taking control over how you feel and taking responsibility for that. It's okay to say, I felt bad because someone so said something. It's okay to say that versus saying, that person made me feel because of what they said, right? Slight difference. But coming back to the main thing, take inventory, guys. If you're single and if you're looking for a partner, work on yourself. Don't worry about, trying to attract the right mate. Be the right mate and the right person will walk into your life. Energetically, like attracts like. You will attract the kind of person, you want in your life. If you are attracting losers, there's a few things you need to ask yourselves. What is your belief system about what you deserve? How much of that do you feel that you are bringing to the relationship? Excuse me. Are you bringing the kind of person you are to the relationship? And then do some work on it. It's really simple. It's really simple. Be the kind of person that you want to be in your life. And at the end of the day, guys, it's your life. You deserve happiness. You deserve joy. If you are in a relationship and you're not happy, and you do have the option, I don't care how committed you think you are, you always have the option of walking away. Is it an easy decision? No, it's not. It is very difficult. Will it affect other people's lives? Absolutely. But I feel it is more important to be authentic and honest and real with yourself versus being in a relationship just because of expectations from family, just because of, your so-called responsibilities, because you can still be responsible and not be married to someone. You can still co-parent and not be in a relationship. Sometimes it's almost healthier to do that versus be in a relationship where there's no love, where there's no communication. What are you role modeling for your children, right? Yes, it's going to be tough. Absolutely. There's always, consequences of everything that you do. But you've got to weigh the pros and cons. And it's okay if you decide to stay in the relationship. There's no judgment one way or the other. But I think it's just an individual's journey, because whatever is happening in your life is happening for you. I truly, truly believe that. Whoever is in your life, and, if they're pushing your buttons, if they're hurting you, if they're pissing you off, if they're, not being the kind of person that you want in your life, you have to ask yourself, what am I supposed to learn from this experience? What are they here to teach me? Because the people who are the biggest, irritators in your life, the biggest button pushers are your biggest teachers. Learn the lesson so you can move on, right? Whatever the lesson is, it could be so many different things. And again, not my place to tell you. You have to take an honest, listen to your own soul, your own heart, your own feelings, and you'll know, because only you know your own truth, and only you can acknowledge and speak your own truth. Anyways, enough said. I hope this has been helpful. As always, feel free to inbox me if you have any questions, and, share if this has been meaningful. And God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.